Welcome to Linda McCartney's Sixties. As you know, I took photographs of all the musicians who meant a lot to me at the time. And I thought it would be fun to talk about the photographs and also play their music in this show. So listen to it, because all the music's from the heart and the photographs are from the heart too. So enjoy yourself, because I know I enjoyed myself.
My generation. What a drag it is getting old. Kids are different today. I hear every mother say, mother needs something today to calm her down. And though she's not really ill, there's a little yellow pill. She goes running for the shelter of her mother's little helper, and it helps her on her way, gets her through her busy day.
One day I was passing the Hearst building, which is around 58th Street in Madison, and I thought, I was walking by and I thought, well, I'll go up and see if I can get a job there, thinking I'll never pass the test. They said they happened to have an opening for a very flunky receptionist job at Town & Country magazine. I couldn't type, I'm not very good at these things, but they didn't do a typing test, so I got the job. So Town & Country worked for a while, and they obviously worked with great photographers, but I never got to go to the fashion shoots or any of that. I was always stuck in the place. One day they had done a photo shoot for a debutante issue. This is in the early 60s, and they had the rebellious Rolling Stones on the cover with a debutante. And I thought, very rebellious, with a debutante issue, give me a break. So Bailey had taken the debutante issue cover. Therefore, the Stones had it in with Town & Country. Their PR people had it in, and therefore they sent an invitation months later, come meet the Rolling Stones on some yacht over at the boat basin on the Hudson River. Well, I opened that invitation and stuck it in my drawer, because I thought none of these editors care or want to go anyway. So I went home that night and had a strep throat, had a bit of tonsillitis, and didn't go in the next day. And I rang in to say I was sick, and one of the editors answered, and she said, oh, by the way, we found an invitation in your drawer for the Rolling Stones. None of us want to go. Why don't you go? So it worked out quite nicely. I said, oh, thank you. I was going to go anyway. Anyway, camera around my neck, several days later, off I went. I brought my camera really because as a hobby, I was taking pictures. We got there, and there was a lot of fuss and lots of photographers and journalists and PR people and everything outdoors. And there was the yacht, and there were the Stones. My goodness. Well, I was obviously huge Rolling Stone fans. So I was standing there, and all of a sudden this girl came up to me. It turned out to be Betsy Doster, who was Alan Klein's, I think, assistant or PR person. Anyway, she came up and said, we'd like you to be the only photographer on the boat. And do I say to her, I'm not a photographer, I just have a camera around my neck? Not me. I was always very good at, oh, well, I'll leap, I won't bother. So I got on the boat. All the journalists got on the boat, but no other photographers. They were all left on land. So I was the photographer, this amateur photographer. So I must take at least 8 rolls of film. Well, I loved the Stones. I loved Aftermath, and Between the Buttons is a particularly great album. And Ruby Tuesday is my all-time favorite Stones track. And I got to know them a bit after that, because I went to a party, an Andy Warhol party, got talking and everything. I liked their music, and I think whenever I liked people's music, I ended up taking great pictures of them. I just remember them as being very cheeky and a lot of fun, And as I say, it was the music that influenced me.
Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang a name on you when you change with every new day? Still, I'm gonna miss you. There's no time to lose, I heard her say. Catch your dreams before they slip away. Dying all the time. Lose your dreams and you will lose your mind. made life unkind. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang a name on you when you change with every new day? Still I'm gonna miss you. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang a name on you when you change with every new day? Still I'm gonna miss you.
Groups like the Blues Project and local New York groups started seeing my photographs and said, look, will you take some publicity shots of us? Well, that was easier because I could do it, let's say, in the summer after 6 or 5 or whatever. But what was happening was I was getting asked to do a lot of work by managers of groups to take publicity shots. So I started thinking, why don't I do this as a living?
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down.
Well, I used to go to a club a lot called Ondine's, which was a very small club on the east side of New York. And it used to have resident bands, like the Buffalo Springfield play there for 2 weeks, the Doors would play there for 2 weeks, and so on. And I used to carry my camera everywhere, and I had my camera, and I started taking pictures. And the pictures in my book of Jim Morrison singing, where there are quite a few of them, was all just me about a foot away from him, before he had released Light My Fire, and before they were discovered. So I just liked their music. And I mean, it was a little hot club with a bunch of people in it, and the acts that were playing there, you could literally be an inch away from them.
You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
Because I was a New York resident, the Doors that were from LA, the Animals were from England. There were very few New York rock and roll bands that were successful. There was the Young Rascals and the Vagrants. Other than that, there were none. So when groups would come to New York, they knew me. This is talking after years of photography. But the Doors, because we were friends, we'd go out to dinner. I'd tell them about a restaurant, or we'd walk around town, or my apartment became a bit of a hangout. And it was in a residential area, and I tell you, my neighbors would look at me like, what is this? And she has a daughter, and she's walking around with all those long-haired guys. Oh, my dear. Anyway, I just became friendly with the Doors, and it was sort of Danny at Fields, and a few of us at, and all the electric, I was saying, you should release that song. In fact, they were so little known that I got a job with a disc jockey who was doing live shows, a bit like Alan Freed at the Brooklyn Paramount used to do them. A guy named Murray the K did 3 weeks of music shows. They have 3, 4, 5 shows a day, keep going on and on. And I got to be the house photographer. Now, I was constantly hired as house photographer, no salary. But in my mind, it meant I could photograph any hours, whoever I wanted. So I went up to Murray the K at one point and said, I know a really great group that you should add to your bill. And I said, they're called The Doors, and you really should add them. And he went, I got enough groups. I don't need any more groups. So forget it. They didn't make his bill.
The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose. And our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Shiny, set right on fire.
I think The Who were definitely my favorite. In this book, there's a sound check. See, I thought it was great because Pete had on a Fair Isle sweater, and yet here he was smashing his guitar during the sound check. It was real with them. It wasn't... Pete really liked smashing his guitar. But I think what happened with all these shows is that after a while, they were breaking so many really nice guitars that they started having to screw them together again. It was quite fun. So the pictures in my 60s book are really The Who at a sound check. Like Keith, he loved kicking his drums in. I remember Pictures of Lily kit. I don't know, did you ever see the kit? It had, they wrote the song Pictures of Lily, and then Chris Stamp had this idea of, it might have been written, probably Pete wrote them, about this sort of old, you know, the old sepia, sort of sexy pictures of women that you used to look at through those, you put a nickel in or a half a shilling, whatever it was. Chris Stamp had this thing of, for the image, they'd take these sepia photographs and use that as a sort of image. And Keith had a whole drum kit made, a Pictures of Lily drum kit. Beautiful it was. And it had photographs on it and everything. It was gorgeous, lacquered. He kicked it in and broke it like all the others.
Pictures of Lily, Lily, oh Lily, Lily, oh Lily, pictures of Lily. And then one day things weren't quite so fine. I fell in love with Lily. I asked my dad when Lily I could find. He said, son, now don't be silly. She's been dead since 1929. Oh, how I cried that night. If only I'd been born in Lily's time, it would have been alright. Pictures of Lily made my life so wonderful. Pictures of Lily helped me sleep at
Keith was a gentleman around me. This is even before I married Paul, because we were friends after I married Paul. But he was like, I never saw all this craziness. I saw sort of a loony British gentleman in Keith Moon. But I loved The Who, and I spent so much time with them, and they used to stay at the Gorham Hotel, and Mooney used to get in such trouble with setting fireworks off, and he threw a television out the window. I think he gave a woman the wife of the manager a bit of heart trouble or something. I don't know. They were just in their own world.
People try to put us to down. My generation, just because we get around. My generation, things they do look awful cold. My generation, I hope I die before I get old.
Jimi Hendrix's experience had become big in England. I went over to Chaz Chandler's flat where Jimi Hendrix lived. Chaz asked me would I take pictures of Jimi because I'd photographed the Animals so many times. They were like old friends. Chaz being the bass player, the Animals knew my photographs. Would I take pictures of Jimi? And the experience, because to me it was the Jimi Hendrix experience. It wasn't just Jimi Hendrix. So, and I love Mitch, I love Noel. They're still both great friends. So I took the first pictures of them. This was before they'd ever come to America to play. I was down at the Speakeasy one night, and I remember Jimi coming up to me and saying, "We're going to America. Do you think we will make it through the front door?" That's how insecure he was. I said, "Jimi, you are going to be huge in America. You're great." Then, when they played Central Park, I took pictures of Jimi and the experience when they were supporting the Rascals. And probably one of my favorite pictures in the book, which is where Jimmy's sort of with the guitar, with the black in the background, was taken there. Jimi played the Fillmore almost every weekend. He was supported by acts like B.B. King, Albert King. I saw them so much, so many times. It was like brushing my teeth, you know? Jimi Hendrix, after he became fairly well known, used to hate the chewing the guitar strings and burning the flag, and he said to me, "I hate these gimmicks, I don't want to do it." I said, "Jimi, don't do it. You are the incredible creative guitar player. People don't care." He said, "Oh, they won't come and see me anymore." So he kept doing it. Then when they started recording at Record Plant over on the west side, and they were recording Electric Ladyland, which I went to practice all the sessions for that. It was incredible. It was more incredible in the studio because something like one of the tracks was 45 minutes and they cut it down to 4 minutes or whatever. So he asked me to take the cover photograph of Electric Ladyland. And what he wanted was a little black boy and 2 white kids. And I said I'd take it for him, but by then I was getting a lot of work. And I had this assignment to do a fashion spread with musicians, editorial for Mademoiselle magazine. When I got back from all this Mademoiselle stuff, Jimi was in tears, and I mean in tears too. He said, "They won't let us use our cover, it's too late. They've taken this most disgusting picture you've ever seen of all these horrible naked girls. I don't know what to do about it, but they won't wait. They're in too much of a hurry. They want to put the album out, so they're going ahead with that." That really crushed him. Jimi Hendrix liked my photograph so much, he used to come over to my apartment and he'd look through all the black and white and we'd mark on the contact sheets. But the color, I used to mount all my slides. And he used to, like a businessman, had a briefcase. He'd open the briefcase and we'd sit on the floor and we'd hold up the slides to the window, because I didn't have a light board. And we'd hold up the pictures, and any that he'd like, we'd chuck into his briefcase. So he had all my great color of Jimi Hendrix, and I've never seen it to this day. I don't know what happened to it. And when he died, they must have gone with him. So that was sort of sad for me. But he loved photography, he loved movies. I remember over at the Drake Hotel one night, we were watching The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he was teary-eyed. He was so emotionally taken by it. I remember Frank Zappa coming over that night and talking about putting together a record label and would Jimmy like to be on it. Those were the times. But Jimmy was very unhappy with his management, and you know, they'd buy him a Corvette, but they wouldn't pay him. It was that kind of thing. They were rough times for him, and the more famous he got, the more tormented he got, really. Wow!
When she said don't waste your words, they're just lies, I cried she was dead. Hey, she worked on my face until breaking my eyes, saying what else you got left. It was then that I got up to leave, but she said don't forget, everybody must give something back for something they get.
I never saw Dylan live, even though he was playing down in the Village, and sort of John Sebastian and people like that were playing in the Village. I never saw him live, but I loved his records. I loved his music. He was a folk singer, and although I loved the Kingston Trio, and I liked the Seekers, Pete Seeger and the Seekers, I liked the Limelighters, I liked folk music, I never saw Dylan. But as he got sort of more rough and got his message across, I became a huge fan. In fact, Blonde on Blonde is still one of my favorite Dylan albums. And when I was quite a well-known photographer making a living of it in New York, so this is really skipping from folk to when Dylan had split up with the band, had his accident and everything. They had a Woody Guthrie memorial concert at Carnegie Hall. And after it, Robert Ryan had a party at his apartment at the Dakotas, and I went to that after. And I went up to Bob Dylan and I said, "Do you mind if I take a picture of you?" And he said, "I'd rather you didn't." And I felt felt that funny feeling in your stomach, but I said fine. And because I was never one of those paparazzi photographers. I was very, very shy about taking photographs. And certainly if somebody didn't want me to take their picture, I would never do it. So I didn't take pictures, and that was that. Years later, after Paul and I had married, we were very friendly with Sarah and Bob. Sarah was Bob's wife at the time, and just a lovely girl, and I think they had 5 kids or something. We went down to visit them in the village when they were living there. We went for dinner or something. But I only took one roll of Bob, and it was with a 135 lens. Even though by then we were friends and he would have been very happy for me to take pictures, I was still a bit shy. So the picture in my book is from that one roll of film that I took. In fact, I think I only took a few frames. The rest was mainly of Sarah and the kids.
I want you, yes, I want you so bad. Honey, I want you. Now my fathers, they've gone down, true love, they've been without it. But all their daughters put me down, 'cause I don't think about it. Well, I return to the Queen of Spades and talk with my chambermaid. She knows that I'm not afraid to look at her. She is good to me, and there's nothing she doesn't see. She knows where I'd like to be, but it doesn't matter. I want you, yes, I want you so bad. Honey, I want you. Now your dancing child with his Chinese suit, he spoke to me, I took his flute. No, I wasn't very cute to him, was I? But I did it because he lied, and because he took you for a ride. Because time is on his side, and because I want you. I want you, yes, I want you so bad. Honey, I want you.
She may be weary. Them young girls, they do get weary wearing that same old shaggy dress. Yeah, yeah. But when she gets weary, try a little tenderness. Yeah. You know she's waiting, just anticipating for things that she'll never possess. Yeah. But while she's there waiting, and without them, try a little tenderness.
Otis Redding, hero of mine, and to me the greatest soul singer ever. And he was playing one of the outdoor gigs in Central Park. I think they're called Rheingold concerts in Central Park. And I was hanging out with the animals that day. We were taking pictures and stuff. They were going over to see Otis, and they just said, "Come on along." We didn't have tickets or anything, so behind the gig there was they used to have a few caravans where everyone would stay. So we were hanging there, but I could not believe this man, and it was the Memphis Horns he was playing with. So I was in front of the stage. He must have been 2 inches, a few feet away from Otis. I was the only photographer there. I only took 1 or 2 rolls of film because I was so into the music. It was more about that. So here I was sort of moving around dancing and I was in front of all the audience, and I never felt self-conscious or anything. I never met him, but he was brilliant. Aretha was obviously a top singer in the 60s. When I did this fashion shoot for Mademoiselle magazine, Aretha was one of the singers I was asked to photograph. So I went to LA. Well, Aretha was in tears. She had, her husband, who was her manager, had really done her wrong, and he had left. She had all the band and everybody on her back for money. And I think she was sort of sipping vodka in the afternoon. She was so upset. Such a nice person. And I guess because there was no one else there, she was sort of talking to me and Andrea, the editor from Mademoiselle, who was a young girl as well, just talking heart to heart. But I took a few of my black and white shots during that because, she was Aretha. Then after that, when she got over all that and got rid of all the business she had to do, they then put a wig on her and makeup and put on this white satin dress, and we went outside. So you can see the contrast in my book of Aretha for the Mademoiselle page and Aretha just really, for me, just as I think it was an emotional thing for me. I really thought she was such a great person, but she certainly has staying power. And it was before all the Afro hairdos, and it was before Be Proud of Yourself when I took this Mademoiselle stuff. She's a different woman now, but she's stuck in there because she's so great. Change, 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 change. I became very friendly with Spencer Davis, who I really thought was a great guy. But Stevie was what I was interested in. I loved Give Me Some Lovin' and I'm a Man and Keep On Running and all the music. It was all to do with music, my thing. So I got to England and I thought, what do I do? So I went to Island Records. I wanted very much to photograph Stevie Wonder. Oh, well, nobody's photographing. He's starting a new group called Traffic, and they're out in the country. Nobody's photographed them. Nobody even knows who's in the group. There's this whole mystique they're doing. They're recording an album, and sorry, no chance. I had met Chris Blackwell, who started Island Records and who was Stevie's manager, but he wasn't in the office. But his assistant, Penny Massett, was there, and she saw my portfolio, and she went, "You will be the first photographer to photograph Traffic." Wow. So one day, Traffic's roadie picked me up and we drove to Berkshire and I saw the English countryside, and they were in this little cottage on Chris Blackwell's farm where the poppies grow so pretty in Berkshire. It was the countryside, so I took pictures of them. There were blossoms, and I did my movies, started at the top of the hill and walked towards me. We found an old train station and I took pictures of them in between the trains. I saw a bunch of people in the town, and there was a little kid who had glasses that I loved. And they said, "Oh, those are National Health glasses. You know, they're prescription. Everybody has them, the little round glasses." So I went up to this kid and I said, "Would you mind stepping in a picture with this group?" So I had all these strangers in with them, you know, all the people. We just had fun. And the pictures were lovely. And I also took individual pictures. I went off with each one of them. I went off with Dave Mason and took pictures, Jim Capaldi and took pictures, Stevie and took pictures, and Chris Wood. He was the flutist and the saxophone player in Traffic. But the individual shot I took of Stevie was really beautiful.
I'm a part of it. It's a part of me. Painted cool green and shaded. So trying to find myself must be the only way. To feel free, I feel no sound. Don't know where I'm bound. I'm looking for a girl who has no face. She has no name or number. Flew in from Miami Beach, BUAC. Didn't get to bed last night. On the way to paperback was on my knee. Man, I had a dreadful flight. I'm back in the USSR. You don't know how lucky you are, boy. Back in the USSR. Been away so long, I hardly knew the place. Gee, it's good to be back home. Leave it till tomorrow to unpack my case. Honey, disconnect the phone. I'm back in the USSR. You don't know how lucky you are, boy. Back in the US, back in the US, back in the USSR. Well, the great girls really knocked me out. They leave the West behind. And Moscow girls make me sing and shout. That
several times in New York City because we all...
And moonstone girls make me sing and shout that Georgia's always on
I had met Brian Epstein several times in New York City because we all hung out at a friend's apartment. So when I was in London, I dropped my portfolio of photographs because I didn't have an agent. I would try and get my own work. So I took my portfolio over to Hilly House, where the Beatles had their office, and I gave it to Brian's assistant and said, I'm desperate to photograph the Beatles. So I left it there, and I went back a few days later, and the assistant said to me, Brian loved your photographs. In fact, he loved them so much, he'd like to purchase a few of them. One was Keith Moon in a ruffled cravat. It was lace, very Edwardian. And the other one is a picture of Brian Jones, which is in the book as well, which is by then quite a famous picture. Anyway, so I said, fine. In fact, I said, I will give Brian the pictures. I didn't charge him. So I got him prints of the pictures. And they said he liked your pictures so much that he's having a little press get-together at his house for the release of Sgt. Pepper. You can come to that. What happened was, in between going to that and going to Brian's office, I met Paul down at the Speakeasy. It's through the Animals that I met Paul, really. I befriended them in New York, and they befriended me when I came to London. Eric lived above a club called the Scotch of St. James. He and his girlfriend were good friends of mine, and he said, well, when you come to England, come over. So I went over one afternoon, and it was great. And then I said, well, I'm going to go now and have dinner. And they said, oh, well, we're going to see Georgie Fame and the Blue Flames down at a club called the Bag of Nails. Come along with us. I said, fine. I was a free spirit. Off I went. And we sat at the booth right next to the band, and I could not believe. I had Georgie Fame's records anyway. I had Sitting in the Park, and I was a mad fan of his and Small Faces and Cat Stevens. So we were sitting there enjoying it, and Chas Chandler was there and everything. And then Paul had come in with a bunch of other people to see Georgie Fame and the Blue Flames. And he sat at a table, I think, 2 booths away from us, and our eyes met, and it was one of them. We kept looking at each other. It was quite fun. So after that, we got up to leave, and after Georgie played, we were all leaving, and Paul and I just started chatting, and he said, well, we're going over to the Speakeasy, another club. Do you want to come with us? I thought, why not? And why not? It would be rude not to. So we went over there, and there were a few people, and I think Brian Jones and Clapton used to go down there, Pete Townsend and everything. I think the day after that, I went over to Brian's and took my photographs of the Beatles. I didn't bring any color film with me. So there were lots of photographers there, so I had to borrow a roll of color film off one of the photographers. And funnily enough, another photographer took a picture of me and my camera while I was talking to Paul, and it was syndicated. And my friend Lillian Roxon at the Sydney Morning Herald sent me a 10 by 8 black black and white glossy print of it, and it had written on the back of it, Beatle Paul McCartney talking to a young journalist. It was so ironic, really. So that was quite fun. And then after that, I went back to New York. You know, it was sort of see you never, one of them. We didn't see each other for months. And then I got a phone call, and it was just Paul saying, why don't you come to England? Hang out for a bit. Just come sometime. They were doing the White Album. Just come, just show up. I said, show up? Oh, that's fine. How do I know you'll be there? I said, anyway, I'll think about it. But off I went to England, and that was really the start of it. Because I went, and they were recording Happiness is a Warm Gun the night I arrived. And I never really went back, did I?
Happiness is a warm gun. Happiness is a warm gun, mama. When I hold you in my arms and I feel my finger on your trigger, I know nobody can do me no harm because it's a warm gun, mama. Happiness is a warm gun, yes it is. Happiness is a warm, yes it is. God. But don't you know that happiness is a warm gun, mama?
Thanks very much for listening to all my memories. You probably have your memories as well of the times and the music. I took these photographs with love, and I know the people I met who made the music made music with love. Thanks for listening again, because I really enjoyed it.